into pieces. But what could he do? They decided learning Torah is greater. And suddenly there was a voice heard from the oven, from next to the oven. It was Yitzchak the Shikr, Isaac the drunk. And he says, "What? You don't want to do kindness? You'll see. In the end," he told the boys, "in the end, their feet won't carry them." He gave them somewhat a curse, or somewhat Ruach HaKodesh, that because they didn't go out with their feet to help the poor guy lift up his horse from the ice and the snow, they didn't want to help him middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, when the rest of the world was sleeping. They couldn't stop their learning Torah for half an hour. He cursed them that one day their feet wouldn't even carry themselves. When Reb Chaikel heard this, he said over to Yitzchak the Shikr in a gaividik tone. He says, "What happened, Yitzchak? Did you become the new Paisik who decides when we should stop learning Torah and when we should learn?" So he basically teased him by calling him Paskindik. Are you the new Paisik? But it's said in a sarcastic way. So Yitzchak said to Chaikel, Good. You'll see. When the wagon driver saw that no one was coming to help him, he left so sad. And Reb Chaikel turned to his friends and he said, those were sharp words that Yitzchak the Shikr said. I feel as if I was bitten by a poisonous snake. Maybe we should go after all and maybe help push the horse out of the ice. And the guy said, yeah, I guess you're right, Bemis, you're right. So now they changed their mind. They put on their coats and their scarves and their hats and their boots, and they started following the path, the footprints in the snow, to see if they could locate the horse and help it up. All 6 Bachurim left, wrapped up and bundled, and they followed the Balagala. But by the time they left the shul and got to the place, which was quite far, they saw the wagon driver sitting on the dead horse, crying that the horse had frozen to death. Reb Chaikel continued the story, and he says, I don't know what happened to the other 5 boys because we didn't stay in touch. Everyone got married, I guess, and moved away, and I never really got to stay in touch with my friends. This was before the age of telephone and text and email and fax, and even with that, how many people stay in touch with their friends anyway? And Reb Chaikel said that I know what happened to me. And he pointed to his amputated leg that was missing. And he says, I know what happened to me. Like his curse, that his feet wouldn't carry him one day. He says, I don't know what happened to my friends. I don't know where they are. I'm curious to know what happened to them. I don't know, but I know what happened to me. So some of you are thinking, wow, what a punishment. Well, the story is not over. Yitzchak the Shikr, who was he? Who was this man, Yitzchak the Shikr? I mean, he must have had Ruach HaKodesh if he could predict what's going to happen to someone. Well, this is the second part of the story that Reb Chaikel said over. Reb Chaikel Milsky said about Yitzchak the Shikr that many months passed after the wagon driver lost his horse. And one day Yitzchak the Shikr came to him in the yeshiva of Slobodka, and he says that tonight he's going to die, referring to himself. Yitzchak told Chaikel that night Yitzchak the Shikr is going to die. So Rav Chaikel said, I said to myself, oh my gosh, he must have really got drunk today. He's talking like this. So he started telling him, stop saying that, you're going to live. Why are you telling me such things? But Yitzchak wasn't drunk at all. And he stared at him in the eyes. And Chaikel got the message. He was going to die. So he told him that night he's going to die. So he asked that Chaikel should be there while he dies, because it's important that if a Yid dies, there's someone in the room. This way it's less painful, at least he had company. And I know my father was zeicher to be in the room when his Rosh Hashiva had Yitzias Nishmasai. When Rabbi Meir Bloch tells the Rosh Hashiva passed away, my father was in the room, the Rosh Hashiva made Kiddush on wine, and he leaned back, and he was nifter mamish, my father caught him. So, Reb Chaikel tells Yitzchak Milsky that Chaikel Milsky, Yitzchak tells him you should come tonight, 11 o'clock. So, Chaikel got serious, and he got the address, and he made up to meet him exactly at that time. There were many small houses where he lived, tiny little huts, and he recognized the address, which was his tiny little slum of a house. He came exactly at 11 o'clock, and Yitzchak the Shikar made sure that he confirmed with him. Confirmed is when you tell someone, say it again. I want to make sure you know what time to come. That's called confirming. So he said, I'm confirming, you're going to come tonight, 11 o'clock? He said, yes, I'll be there. And when he came, he looked at the house, and it was really the poorest house he ever saw in his life. It was really a poverty-stricken house. And Chaikel Milsky even wondered if this house even needs a mezuzah. Because you don't have to put a mezuzah on a door, a room that's tiny, unless it's at least Dalet Amis by Dalet Amis. It was such a tiny little hut, he didn't even think the tiny room needs a mezuzah. All that was in the house was a bed and a chair. That was the whole house. As he came in, Yitzchak the Shikar told him, it's good that you came. He was laying in bed, and he tells Chaikel that because he's about to die, I want you to do me a big favor. Can you bury me in the old cemetery next to so-and-so, the tzaddik who's buried there, big Talmid Chacham? I want to be buried next to the big Torah scholar. It was one of the Gainim of the previous generation. So, Rabbi Yitzchak, Chaikel said, I don't know if there's room in the old cemetery. The reason they started the new cemetery is because the old cemetery became full of people. And the greatest Talmid Chachamim are buried there, and who's going to believe me if I tell them that I have to bury you? Because there's a general rule, like that Talmid Chachamim have a special spot in the cemetery. You don't bury an Am Haaretz, someone who didn't care about the Torah, next to somebody whose whole life was Torah. It doesn't go good. They're not such good neighbors. So now Chaikel's thinking to himself, how am I going to do this? So Yitzchak the Shikar tells him, you're right. But you know what? Look on the side of my bed. And he showed him a stack of his Chidushei Torah. He had a bunch of pages of Torah that he had written. And he tells him, show this to the Chachamim in the city, the Rabbanim. Then they'll appreciate who I am. I guess he was a hidden tzaddik, and no one knew about him. So he showed him the stack of Chidushei Torah that he wrote on the whole Shas. And he says, show this to the Rav, and he'll believe that I deserve to be buried there. And Chaikel looked, and he saw a whole box of notes, together with his talis and his tefillin. Such beautiful tefillin. He thought to himself, I never saw him wearing such nice tefillin. I always saw him wearing very simple ones, like cheap ones, but these were the most beautiful and magnificent ones. so mehuder. But when he looked at the notes, he realized it wasn't only notes on Gemara. It was notes on the Zohar and the Kabbalah, the secrets of the Torah that only the wisest of the wise know. This was not Stam Divrei Torah. This was Kabbalah. So Yitzchak the Shikr says, "No, you'll do what I said." And Chaikel said, "Yes, I will. If there's a place, if there's a plot to bury him there, he's going to do it." So Yitzchak the Shikr says to Chaikel, "There'll be a place, there'll be a plot. You make sure you bury me there." And Chaikel said, "Okay." Right then, Yitzchak the Shikr used his last strength before his soul departed his body. And he said the holy words that we say every morning and night. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Which means, listen Yidden, Hashem is our God, but the time will come when even the Goyim will admit Hashem Echad. Hashem, even the Goyim will admit one day that He is the only God. Reb Chaikel ran outside and he told people, "A tzaddik passed away." And all the people in Slobodka heard. And he showed the stack of Chedushim to the Rav. He said, "Look at all these Chedushim on the Torah." And the Rav wanted to pull out his hair. He said, "Oi! I always thought he was Yitzchak the drunk. And now you're telling me he was from the biggest tzaddikim. Who can know so much Torah unless it's somebody whose whole life was spent concentrating on the Torah?" The Rav said, "Quick, go check in the old cemetery. There should be a place to bury such a tzaddik." And the whole city of Slobodka participated in the funeral. And they showed him his last respects. The Rav got up and he said words of eulogy, of hesped, that were so emotional that mamish had penetrated the people like holes in their body. And everyone cried. And they asked Mechila, "Please forgive us, Yitzchak the Shikr, for always disrespecting you. We never knew how great you are." That was Yitzchak the Shikr. Sometimes you see someone and you simply don't know how great he is. Yitzchak the Shikr, tzaddik, anav, didn't learn for kavod. He learned just because he wants to know the Torah. We have to learn from Yitzchak the Shikr to try harder, to learn more, to write Chedushim. And we have to learn from Chaikel Milsky that if you're learning in the Beis Medrash one night at 3 o'clock in the morning with your friends, such good boys, and someone comes and says, "My truck, my car fell off the road, I need someone to push it," go. Don't give up an opportunity to do chesed. He gave up that opportunity to help with his feet, and one day he lost his feet. I hope that everyone will be healthy and well, and everyone should use their feet to go do mitzvahs, to learn Torah, and to do chesed. These are the two mitzvahs that will protect Klal Yisrael in this Ikvus de Mashiach in this time before Mashiach comes. I have a story today about a dreidel.
Silver one.
And I heard this story from Marenu Harav Duvi ben Shushan, who happens to be a wonderful Talmid Chacham, who's always striving to grow in Torah and learn the depth of the Torah. And he's up so early in the morning and late at night, preparing shiurim, teaching people. I watch him sometimes on Shabbat, and I'm awed how he gets hundreds of modern Syrians come learn with him and steig with him. He's really transforming the lives of many people with his charming and very, very sensitive personality. He's a wonderful man, and lucky are those that get to hear him on J-Boot Radio. So he said a story that one time one of the famous companies that makes